All right, YouTube world and Morris. I saved the best for last and the scariest for sure. And that jail slash prison is gonna be Southern Desert, way out there in the West Desert of Las Vegas. And let me tell you, this place was no joke. The last one, it was pretty bad, but this one was 10 times worse. Way exceeded my expectations of what it was going to be like. Yeah, it's not as a scary place. So just kind of touch up the drive out there. For one, it was clear out there. So even once we got there, even if you did escape, you're out in the middle of the desert, and you probably wouldn't last long because there was just nothing out there. It was just a wasteland. My initial reaction when we got there was a little lobby area. I was like, "Oh, this is nice. This isn't too bad." But once we kind of got past the lobby area and got through the metal detectors and that, it's yeah, that's when it got pretty intense, and you could tell that that place was for some pretty serious offenders. The guards, for one, they didn't joke around a whole lot. I mean, they did, but it was strictly business, and you knew that they were there. They were it was strictly business for them. I want to talk about kind of just the initial walking around, the atmosphere there. You like the other place, Florence McClure, the Women's Center. There, you knew you were being watched 24/7, either by the inmates or even the guards. The one CO had actually mentioned that as soon as we stepped on the premises, the inmates knew that we were there, and there were some visitors. So that was kind of scary, you know. They already knew we were there before even reaching to the gate, and that just goes to tell you how fast word travels in the prison. I mean, it was just instantaneous. Um, so the tower, there's only one. Well, there's actually two guards up in the tower that are armed. Every one of the other COs, they just have a bottle of mace, and that's pretty much it. So in the tower, they've got a shotgun as well as an assault rifle. So if anything goes down, you know, it's pretty much rely on your instincts as a CO, and you've got to pretty much fight to the death because there's not for one, they're outnumbered by about 100 to 1. So I mean, if it goes south, you're in trouble, and you got to pretty much like they were saying. I can't remember the woman CO's name, but I kind of talked to her a lot, and she said it pretty much just is how you carry yourself, and that's how the inmates see that. And if you carry yourself with like as a business like, and you know, you're just there to take care of business, and you respect them, they respect you. She said, you know, it's you against 1,000 others. So I mean, it just pretty much is. If you go in there hot-headed, thinking that you run the place, they're gonna tear you apart. You know, they run the place. It's the COs are just there to kind of, I guess, keep the peace as much as they can, which I thought was pretty crazy. You got to be pretty tough to be a CO, and you got a whole nother mindset, really. Um, One thing that really kind of stuck out to me that would suck for sure is the solitary confinement area of the prison. The guys are in their cells 24 hours a day. They even shower in a cell. They're out in the yard time an hour a day, and they're in a cell still. So I mean, they're constantly just in a cell for 24 hours a day, and that would just, I don't know, that would drive me insane. I hate being inside at work for 8 hours a day. So I mean, imagine being in there, can't go anywhere for 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year. That was just crazy. That would suck to me. Um, Kind of their programs they had, they're not as many. They're not as program oriented as I would say Florence McClure was. That's just mostly because they don't have the resources. The COs were telling me they're highly understaffed, and so they try as best as they can with the resources they have. But I mean, like I said, they're just understaffed, and the budget, there's no money. So some of the resources they do have is an auto shop program. We got to tour that. That was really cool. So some of the inmates, the lower level, wants to get more free time, They go and pretty much work on cars. People come and bring in their cars from all over Vegas, and they pretty much restore them there for a fraction of the cost of what a different place would. And the quality of work that I saw was just as good as any other business that's not in a prison. So I mean, that was pretty cool. Another one is they take the old casino chips and cards, take those and kind of remanufacture them and sell them for tourists at some of the places here in Las Vegas, which I thought was cool. They do have schools and resources for inmates to kind of continue their education. Like the lady CO was telling me, a lot of them, they don't even have a high school diploma, so they can go work on getting their GED and that, and even take some college credits, which I thought was cool. One more thing is about touching base on the COs. Is they work 16 to 18 hours a day, double shifts, which, I mean, that's just nuts. You're basically there all the time. You literally just go home just to sleep, eat, and then you're right back there. So that's another thing, is you've got to mentally be on your game, because if you're not on your game that one day, that could go south. And in one of the dorm areas, I can't remember what she said, housed about 200 plus inmates. And for those 200 plus inmates, there is one CO that watches over them. So, I mean, you got to constantly be on guard, and that moment that you slip up could be your last. So, I mean, that's just, like I said, a whole nother mindset between being in law enforcement and a law enforcement officer and a correctional officer. It's just crazy. And we also got to see at the end of the tour some of the contraband that had been taken, which these inmates, they're pretty creative. If only they could take that creativity and use it for a positive thing, then we'd have some pretty bright minds out there. One guy actually crafted out of wood a outlet. He took the end of a fan and pretty much just used that, and he had his own little outlet that he could use. Not very safe, but I mean, hey, who would have thought of that? And so, I mean, like I said, that place, it was no joke. It was like being on Beyond Scared Straight. And I definitely thankful for the opportunity I got to visit that place, but I definitely do not want to go back. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.